Alright, what you're looking at here is my virtual machine running under KVM QEMU on an openSUSE Leap 15.5 system. And I'm running Tumbleweed inside of the VM, so hopefully you can tell what the transparency effect on. You can see that I've got some 3D capability. In this case I have an RX 5700 XT video card, and so this is going to be using the AMD Mesa graphics drivers and pretty much just the basic virtual machine configuration for graphics pass-through. So basically inside of your virtual machine and display spice, you're going to have to set your listen type to none. You're going to have to turn on OpenGL and select the device to use, and then down in Video VirtIO you have to tell it that you want 3D acceleration. So if you do those two steps, then you're going to have some 3D capabilities inside of your virtual machine. And I've demonstrated running some of the Unigen demos like Heaven and Valley. This is going to be a demo running an old game, Unreal Tournament 2004, which oddly enough you can make run in contemporary systems. In this case I'm going to be running it under Tumbleweed. It doesn't get more contemporary than that. But you know, it's got some issues. So you know, trying to run Steam games or anything like that underneath this VM, most of the issues is not so much of a performance issue, though there are some, right? Because we're doing 3D inside of our virtual machine here, and we're still supporting 3D in our environment. So this isn't like a pure pass-through scenario, right? So 3D is still engaged, as you can see. Again, I can wobble my window. I've got the transparency. Everything is working here inside of my desktop, but I'm going to have 3D capabilities inside of my virtual machine as well. Unreal Tournament's obviously a very basic game and probably not very resource intensive, so if you're looking for something that's a more powerful demo, I don't have that to show right now. So this is just OpenGL again, running inside of a virtual machine, and I'm going to demonstrate by executing a pre-canned demo that I have set up here called bench demo. And so all this is going to do is go through and put me in spectator mode inside of various maps, and we're going to roll through that real fast. Mouse movement is very unpredictable in these environments, so when I start this, you're going to see, well, I'm going to click to change player, so we're going to be in spectator mode, and I'm going to click around to change player. But if I move the mouse, things are going to go absolutely nuts because there's just not very good mouse control. So if I do that accidentally during this video, forgive me as things go upside down and backwards until I reestablish some control over the mouse. But I did want to show yet another demo, but maybe one that's more entertaining than the ones I have in the past. So let's try it out here. So I shrunk my viewport for the window down a little bit just so you can see that I'm still running, on a desktop inside this virtual machine. But it can run full screen, and you could do that. It's just that if you're running full screen, it's hard for you to tell that you're actually running inside of a VM. So I wanted to show, make it obvious that that's what we're doing. So I'm going to click around, change players here, change my focus. So, and then after a time limit, this will shut off and it'll start the next one up again. Here we go. So I'm just going to start the next one up, and it's a different map. Again, nothing too outstanding as far as contemporary graphics go, but anybody knows that if this was if you didn't have graphics acceleration, we'd be at probably 5 frames per second or less here, which would be very noticeable. At least I hope it would be very noticeable to you. So even though this is still kind of old school, and obviously running very well here in the in my situation with this RX 5700 XT. You know, it's not not the most stressful game, but it's obviously being accelerated. So this one, I don't know why I'm leaving the demo. It's not my favorite map. It's one of those things where you're inside of traveling, you're doing battle, you know, inside of moving vehicles and things like that. And to me, this is not the most exciting set of maps inside of Unreal Tournament. But and this is a commercial version of Unreal Tournament, and Unreal Tournament was Unreal Tournament 2004 was a native port to Linux. So it's one of the few, but still, what's kind of interesting, this still plays even today. So I just wanted to show you that, and I think after this we have one more map to look at, but I'll just click around. There's just a few more players here. So all I'm doing is switching players, you know, in spectator mode by hitting the fire button, trying to avoid mouse movement, because again, that's really going to throw things off, and that's just a limitation. So in other words, I can't really well play this game interactively right now, though if we could figure out the mouse issues, it would play pretty well. So yeah, Uncertain Torland is probably one of my favorite maps in the game. So it's Onslaught Torland. This one where it's kind of like you gotta set up all your bases and go and take down the enemy base. And but I like this map. I like tight maps, you know, where there's not a lot of hiding, and you know, it's very challenging. Makes for a very long running game, though, of course. Alright, so that was it. That was all the demo. And again, as you can see, got my wobbly windows established and everything. And we could have gone through and I could have done something local with some kind of local thing happening on my desktop. But I wanted to show you that I didn't lose graphics on my desktop while we were doing that. That was all still present and there. So, you know, and I was even running, just to be honest, I was running there was a Windows VM running at the same time. So there's my Windows 11 VM. He wasn't doing anything, but you know, he was actually running on this host as well at the same time while all that was going on. But just kind of state of the art. Things are, you know, getting there, you know, as far as some of the fancier stuff that you can do inside of Linux. And you may have some of these capabilities to your heart's content. You know, so NVIDIA, you can partition your NVIDIA GPU. It's a little bit of work, but you can partition it into equal sized partitions. You know, so it has to add up to 100% kind of a thing, and then you can distribute each one of those out to individual VMs. But that's an NVIDIA thing, and it takes a little bit of work to set up inside of KVM, QEMU, and here you have something that's a little bit real easy to set up. You're not so dependent upon all the proprietary closed source drivers of NVIDIA. You get that it's not passing through anything, so it's not really a partitioning scenario. This is basically just working on the idea of sharing natively the graphics capabilities of your native system with your VMs, which is probably what everyone really wants, right? So anyway, wanted to demonstrate that, show it off. Comment, let me know what you think. Thanks.